Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Chasing Daylight podcast. Today, I am very excited to have this interview, Mr. Harry Arnett, founder of Municipal. As everybody knows, I am a very much of a Municipal fanboy. Harry, thank you so much for taking time. I'm sure you're a crazy busy man with how Municipal is blowing up. So thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me. And I appreciate you thinking of us and thinking of me. And thanks for your support. I was wondering why our sales had spiked so dramatically this morning. And now I know because you're wearing the bright magenta 4 a.m. club, the original 4 a.m. club tee.
Yeah, I have so many Municipal shirts. It's funny. I get a lot of crap from the guys as being the Municipal fan.
Don't get me the crap, but I do have a lot of Municipal myself.
Yes. So let's first start out. We'll get into how Municipal came to be, but I want to tell everybody a little bit about you, or let you explain a little bit about you, because you've been in the golf space for quite a while.
Yeah.
And you have a pretty good history. So let everybody know who you are and what your journey in the golf space was.
Yeah. Mine started kind of later, I would say. When I grew up, I'm a child of the 80s. Golf really wasn't cool unless you were sort of born in it. And, country club kids. And that's kind of what the image of golf was. And I grew up in Atlanta. So grew up around the game, sort of, but never really played it. Although my branch of the Arnett family we were not golfers, but all throughout my mom's side and my dad's side, my dad's father, my grandfather was an avid golfer, but we didn't grow up playing. We grew up doing other shit. I was a soccer player, played soccer in college, played soccer post-college, but my first job out of college, my first real job, I should say, was working in sports radio. And one of my colleagues, one of my friends who worked with me on the morning show, was a college golfer and introduced me sort of just sitting in the little control room talking about golf. And at that time, I had a pretty big block of time in my day where I could either go home and sleep before I had to be at games at night, or I could do something active, and golf was perfect for that. So I sort of was self-taught, going to local munis around Atlanta, going into a sporting goods store and trying to assemble my first set of golf clubs, beg, borrowing, and stealing, because I was making $8 an hour. So golf was a little bit expensive for me. And that's how I kind of found my way, at least as a player. And much like every avid golfer, it hit me pretty hard in terms of the passion for it. And along the way, just had various jobs in other industries, primarily in media. Went to graduate business school, got into the sporting goods industry, and always had in the back of my mind that I would love to work at a golf company, but had no idea how to even find my way into the game. I mean, it was sort of like my journey into golf took a lot of fence hopping, as it was. And so I ended up, by luck, getting a job in the marketing group at TaylorMade Golf back in the aughts, and moved my wife and my 1-year-old at the time to Carlsbad, where I live today, never having visited here other than my job interview. My wife came here, never having come to San Diego. And the rest is sort of history. I went from TaylorMade, and this is back in the kind of mid-late 2006, 2007. And if you remember, for the club junkies out there and the historians of golf equipment, that was really the first part of the heyday of when TaylorMade was dominating the equipment world. And I say dominating both in terms of sales, but really capturing the mind share of consumers and entering this era that we kind of find ourselves in now too, where people are experiencing a much different way that golf companies are marketing themselves, are presenting themselves, and are becoming more lifestyle brands than they really are in terms of technology and equipment. And TaylorMade was really the the first brand that picked up where Callaway had left off in the 90s and early 2000s to do that. So I was right in the middle of that. Great learning experience. I was there about 5.5 years. In TaylorMade years during that time, that's about 30 years of experience. It was dynamic. I think I had 12 or 13 different job responsibilities in 5.5 years. So we were shuffling the deck constantly, trying to stay on the front end of what was relevant and cool, and ended up leaving TaylorMade to go become the chief marketing officer at Callaway, and was there for 7 years and sort of saw Callaway's reemergence as the number one golf brand, and totally different experience there, but a great one. And 7 years in, I sort of had the wanderlust, I would say, where I really felt like there was a different version of me personally that still needed to be explored. And there was a different, there was more potential with respect to my own personal growth that was really yelling pretty loudly in my head. And eventually I sort of was like, well, I can sit here and like think about this, or I can go for it. And I had met Mark Wahlberg maybe 15 years prior, back when I was at TaylorMade, and we had been talking about doing a brand together for forever. And then finally, Mark, in classic Mark term, said the same thing. Is like, we ready to bet on ourselves and do this, or are we just going to sit here and talk about this forever? So I left the comfort of a job I loved and the comfort of that to start Municipal in 2019, and here we are. And there's lot of bumps in the road from 2019 to get to here, from COVID right when we launched to before we launched, even to tariffs, to all kinds of things that have been roadblocks for us to get to where we are today.
What was that conversation like with your wife, if you don't mind me asking? Hey, I've got this really great job with one of the powerhouses in golf.
My wife's name. How do you feel, Kim, about going for 15 or 20% of our income for the next half a dozen years? You feeling good about that? You know, the biggest and most important decision we can make is who we choose to partner up with in our lives. And so, you know, fortunately, my wife knows me well enough that, and she's pretty analytical too. I should say really analytical, to understand, like, hey, listen, you know, I tend to idealize things, and I tend to, which is one of my strengths, frankly. And she was like, look, what's the worst that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is you do this, it doesn't work out, it's not successful, at least commercially, but you're going to learn a lot in this process. And the one thing we both knew about me is, at the end of the day, when I'm old and broken down and unable to do, to work anymore, it's the one thing I would regret is I didn't go for it. And I think that we felt like, even through COVID, when it was unclear whether we would emerge, like, again, at the end of the day, when the chips were down, we went for it. And that really is something I've thought about quite a bit, even in, now we don't quite have the same type of headwinds we've had getting started. But I think that being able to bet on yourself, being able to find the resourcefulness that it takes to certainly start something, but then also to grow our skills that you can't get anywhere else.
Such a good story. I love it. So what made you, how did the Municipal name came to be, and how did the partnership with Mark? I know you said you had a conversation and you just revamped it a few years later, but what was it like, coming together and say, hey, yeah, we're going to do this?
Well, our third co-founder is a guy named Stephen Levinson, who's been Mark's partner in entertainment for 30 plus years. He started out as Mark's manager, and now they built entertainment businesses together. And they were thinking, going way back, Mark is an avid golfer. He plays more golf than really any non-tour professional that I know. He's a sicko in the best way possible. He's just like us. And he was really wanting to do something in golf specifically. And I was in golf, obviously. And as I said before, I'm an idealist. And I think the one thing that has really fueled my life and certainly my professional career is to try to think more broadly about opportunity and not so narrowly about opportunity. And when he and Lev were talking about this concept of Municipal, they were thinking of it as a golf brand, and they were thinking of it as a new, and this is going back 10 years ago. So 2016, 2017, they were thinking really along the future, like where golf was headed. And having been in golf, no disrespect to golf, I was of the opinion that there was a bigger opportunity with what they were thinking about Municipal that could be great for golf, but would have a broader appeal than just for golfers. And I was looking at it relatively inside out, Matt, of this is the type of idea and the type of brand that needs to exist that fits in with the modern life of the hyperactive, multi-hyphenate consumer, men and women, by the way, where health and wellness and activity and motion cut across all of the scenes and requirements of a multidimensional life in pursuit of living a much more extraordinary life. And this thematically, I was seeing was happening in every industry. And so my instinct was, unfortunately for golf is always slower to get on the cultural lead lap, if you will. And golf forever has thought that it was insulated from what was happening broadly in culture, but really it's not insulated, it's just slower. And so my Callaway experience, our entire marketing philosophy, branding philosophy, was much more about the modern connectivity and the pathways that people wanted to take into the game, that were relying on sort of the cultural modernity that was happening among the interconnectivity of consumers. And we called that the sphere of influence. And so rather than the pyramid of influence, now this is a little wonky, but I think what's fascinating now is our premise at Callaway, and I'll get back to the Municipal part in a second. Our premise of Callaway when I got there in 2012, which was pretty avant-garde, I think, at that time, is exactly what's played out now. Probably faster than we even imagined, because we said then that people's pathways and their influence in the game, their access to the game, is not top down and it's not linear. That's a model. That's certainly a model that's worked, but it's not a model that really is working in any other consumer category. That really what is happening is there's this interconnectivity of consumers that are discovering their own individualized pathways into the game that's reliant a lot on digital storytelling and obviously social media. And it's not necessarily reliant on the institutional or legacy stakeholders that have created this linear model, which is called the pyramid of influence. And in 2012, 2013, we said there's going to be a time in the not so distant future where there are going to be way more people absorbing their golf via YouTube or social media than there are in the way that the tour is constructing their media properties. And I thought personally, like, that's probably 10 years away, and it kind of happened sooner than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Municipal. So within Municipal, what we were started to talk about is this idea that I'm describing, and I know this is wonky, but this idea that people are living these interconnected, integrated lives, or wanting to, is informing a lot of industry, from real estate to travel to a variety of consumer. But it really hasn't happened in the way that's more direct in the stuff we were caring about: apparel, footwear, accessories. And so as we started talking about it, that's when we're like, whoever builds that brand for that intersection, for that moment, because all of these categories, from lifestyle to luxury to athletic, we're all trying to converge into that space. But whoever really built it for that modern consumer is going to build the next big, important, iconic, resonant global brand. And that sort of statement and challenge really appealed to me. And I think for Mark and Lev, who they don't like to do anything on a small level, if they're going to get involved in something, they want to have impact. That was really where we stacked hands and we said, let's do this. Let's go for it.
Nice. You know what I like about it is you look at the golf brands, the major golf brands, Callaway, TaylorMade, Ping, all those, they really don't have a lifestyle element to them.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, you don't go to the gym wearing a Callaway shirt. There's just, you know, it's just not there. They have some, but it's not there. But with Municipal, it covers a really broad spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's got the
right. Well, I think you're right. I think that the industry uses the word lifestyle because they don't have a broad enough vocabulary to really think about what it is when golfers are saying they want lifestyle. Really what they're saying is they want stuff that they can wear everywhere. And the way that golf has worked historically is if you think about it as like a conveyor belt, and you have the traditional part of the industry in apparel and footwear, at least, that are part of the ecosystem. And anybody that does something different, generally that's successful, has a moment where they're the new kid on the block, and they generally are borrowing from other industries, other categories, and ultimately that gets absorbed into the main, and it becomes part of the establishment. And then there's a new kid on the block. And what's happening is that wheel's turning so fast. And what I think our opportunity, or at least what we saw, is we didn't want to be on that wheel. So typically, and you kind of look at what's happening in golf now, there's a lot of modern nostalgia happening. There's a lot of reclaiming of 90s looks. You see pleats coming back. Yep. And that's more of a style thing than it is a philosophy. And so Municipal was really built on a philosophy. And we felt like if we could do our own thing, and this is kind of getting back to what I was describing with not really made specifically for golf, but perfect for golf, is we felt like if we could do our own thing, we would get off that wheel and we would have more of a sustainability, I think, to our brand, even as it exists in golf, which, as we've said, is kind of moves from one hot thing to the next and is following, more, and this is maybe flies in conflict to what I said earlier, but is really more what's happening in the fashion world, where you might have a hot brand for a year or two, and then there's something else that comes on, and then a million other facsimiles thereof that pop up that look just like that brand. And I kind of see that stuff in golf too, and we try, or at least I try, and leading this is that we're not one of the same, is to do our own thing and not try to be some version of something else. And those are always the brands I like. It's one of the reasons for years I really respected the Ping brand in equipment, is because they look like Ping. They don't try to look like other brands. They're not copycats. They have a very distinct visual language that's their own. And golf is really a copycat industry. If someone has success, you see everybody. I saw, you look at like what's going on with lab putters now. Now everybody has a putter that looks like lab putters. You look at some of the jailbird stuff from Odyssey that was cool, and now everybody has something that looks like that. So golf has always been that way. There's a competitive dynamic that tries to block people's growth, obviously, from the big scaled companies. But I always respected the brands that did their own thing and tried to create their own connection with their existing customers. And so for Municipal, like that's one of our guiding principles, at least, is trying to stay true to what the brand proposition is, and not try to be distracted, I guess, by what might be happening commercially that doesn't have a long-term component to it. And, for us, so if you look at like, okay, what does that mean? I'm sure people are listening are like, what the F is Harry even talking about? What does that mean? Well, the performance characteristics of our products have to live up to a standard where it can do a variety of things to facilitate the ability to, let's take my life, for example. And I'm a little out of our demo. I'm an old guy, but I'm on any given day, I'm coming into the office. I work in a creative office, so I don't have to be terribly buttoned up. I take at least 2 of my meetings a day. I spend walking on the meeting. So I'm walking 2 hours during the day on a meeting. So I have to be mobile. I have to be active. So it has to perform. I also needs to satisfy a style standard that I have, that like, I don't want to look like everybody else, but I don't want to stand out to stand out. And then also with active being such a major component of what Municipal is all about, and health and wellness, that it really needs to perform across all of the activities that are a part of my life, from gym to hiking to golf. I'm playing 2 times a week, not hitting balls much anymore. Body can't do it, but I'm playing, and I have to have a brand that can do all of those things.
Yeah. And that's another aspect of it too, is it's not, you do have a golf, section, I guess you could say.
Well, I mean, Wyndham Clark's won the U.S. Open twice with Municipal.
Yes,
so like,
yes.
He's not gonna wear shit that doesn't help him do that. That's the point. Like, it has to work. It has to work. Yeah. It's not style for style's sake. And that's one of the guiding principles for us, is at the center of it is the consumer that has to be able to do the things at a high level that he or she demands.
Yeah, but like I was going to say, it's not just golf. It's like you said, it's gym, it's hiking. You can go pickleball. You can get stuff to wear out for just a casual evening with the friends, or a date or whatever. It's not just solely focused on one aspect. You can cross sport a lot of it.
Well, you just nailed it, Matt. That's our perspective on what you were describing as lifestyle. And lifestyle isn't just the style part. It works for everything that you're doing. And I think that's really, why we created this, because we were seeing and we were living these lives that really no brand was adequately articulating and adequately equipping us for. And, I was coming out of the golf industry. Golf was as lame as it gets, that I couldn't wear the golf stuff in the gym. I certainly couldn't wear it hiking. I certainly couldn't wear it really in anywhere else than people would look at me and say, there's a golfer. And, golf style inherently is pretty specific. And so that was, the style part of what we call sport utility. The sport utility aesthetic is really, the through line that cuts through everything that we do. And it's constantly evolving, and we're constantly innovating to bring the type of fabrications and the style and the composition. And I think the thing that we also take really seriously is we want to build product better than anybody has, and we don't want somebody to spend pay a premium, which when we're a premium brand, and then I was going to say 2 years later, sometimes you buy stuff and it's like 2 weeks later, you're like, I can't believe I bought that. But we want to be the type of brand that people buy, and it's they're wearing it for years and years and years.
I picked up one of the what is it, the game day hoodie.
Yeah.
I put that thing on and I'm like, I don't even want to wear anything underneath it. It's so damn comfortable and it is so warm, and the merch
well,
is
think about too, like where you live, and you're in Vegas, and there's a reason that Vegas is growing like it's growing. It's because there's an opportunity. Forget the gaming part of it for a second, but if you just think of gaming as entertainment, you have this wonderful combination of entertainment, outdoor lifestyle, indoor lifestyle, active lifestyle, plus the nightlife, of course. And I'm not even talking about shows and everything. I'm talking about restaurants and culture that are all coming there now, professional sports. That's the integration that consumers are wanting. It's the aspect that's driving, as I said, all of these industries. And the thing that we talk about in golf of what's really expanding golf is that integration. And it is about providing multiple pathways into the game in a much broader way than have ever existed before. And sometimes people get, I think, maybe a little territorial about what that might mean, of like, oh, well, golf is this. And I see on the internet, just like everybody else, the whole shrink the game thing. And I kind of laugh at that, because what people are really wanting, and I think this is a great thing for golf specifically, is they're really wanting to be able to define their own path and their own experience into the game in a much more integrated way. And the companies, the brands, the experiential components that are able to do that in a seamless, exciting way are the ones that ultimately are creating the growth.
We here on the show are very pro shrink the game, but we don't like saying that because it sounds derogatory. We like educate the golfer is a big thing, because I think a lot of people want to shrink the game because of the COVID explosion, and you have so many people that are new to the game. But I think if those golfers were educated, it would be a lot more user friendly out there. But another thing we talk about is find the game. The game finds you when it's supposed to. And, golf is an amazing sport. And I've said for years, it brings people together unlike any other sport. My whole network of friends are people that I've met through the game. I still have my high school friends from, 40 years ago, but, my core group of friends right now, we're all golfers. And the game finds you at the right time, and when you allow the game to find you is when you really start having a respect for it.
Well, you said the word. I was going to say is respect. And I think within the municipal context too is, I think we're not in any way, shape, or form. I do not like the brands, at least in apparel, that have a cynical view of what golf is and try to dunk on the game like that. That just offends my sensibility. So, we have a respectful view, I guess, on the game too. And my favorite, my team here always laughs at me for this, because they're like, you're such a boomer. My favorite way of playing golf is a beautiful, not very densely populated golf club that is probably pretty old and playing with a caddy. That's my favorite golf.
Yeah.
I love walking. I walk 99% of my rounds of golf.
Oh,
I
that's
carry
awesome.
my bag 99% of the time. That's my happy zone in golf. And and to do that, I think is really my favorite part of golf. So and my team thinks that I'm a million years old for that. But
We can't do that here. It's
yeah,
one,
they're in Vegas.
damn
No chance.
hot, and
No
the
chance.
courses are not designed for walking because
Yeah.
it's a lot of desert target and there's journeys between holes. It's not like the courses back east where the tee box is right next to the
I
green.
know. San Diego, funnily enough, is the same. Although the one place where I play is one of the few that you can walk, and it's one of the reasons I'm a member there. Is I love to walk.
Do you mind saying what course you're playing?
And it's been in the news lately. I am a member of the Farms Golf Club.
Oh,
You probably
has Phil asked you to hold his phone for you?
all that was sort of news to me. Yeah,
Oh.
it was like I was probably looking at it the same way everybody else was. Like, holy cow, this is crazy.
Do you know Kyle Mendoza?
Yeah, he's our pro there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, who's on the podcast with us, that's one of his good buddies.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle's one of the best players in Southern California. So
he's a stick.
yeah, he is.
Stick.
Yeah, he is.
All right. So what is Municipal's focus on? This is a golf podcast, so we got to talk about golf, of course.
Yes.
What's Municipal's focus on golf going forward? I know Wyndham Clark, big second U.S. Open win, wearing the gear. But is there other tour players that are out there that are wearing it?
We've got 3 guys on tour. We've got Kirk Kitayama, Patrick Rogers, and Wyndham, and 3 different cats, and that's part of the cool part about our brand. So you got 3 totally different guys that kind of have different styles, different looks, different requirements, and I think of those 3, we've got, at one point we had 3 in the top 50, which was cool. And so, anymore, the how many you have isn't really as important as who they are and how you activate them. Exactly. So, our opportunity is really to tell more people about that and to let people in on the psychology rather than just seeing them on tour. Because people aren't watching as much tour golf anymore, at least in the traditional sense. So that part is exciting to us. And I think that what we're doing from a product perspective, and we have a shoe called ATG, which was our first real execution with this integrated philosophy, because it really has more inspiration and technology cues coming from outdoor sport and outdoor performance than it does golf. So it doesn't really look like a golf shoe necessarily. It looks like a trail runner, an outdoor shoe. And that's the point. It's meant to be the type of shoe that you could wear doing those kinds of pursuits, or even just wearing it around in a way that looks very outdoor and sport utility like, and not so golfish. And so that philosophy of bringing outdoor performance and outdoor performance style and versatility to golf is one of the things we're really excited about, exploring that in a broader way. So we have a whole collection coming in the spring that is the apparel component of ATG, and it's I'm really excited about it. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing don't tell Mark because he'll want this shirt, but I'm wearing a first prototype of a long sleeve tee that goes with that collection, and we've shown it to the golf trade already, and people are going crazy for it because it makes perfect sense. And if you think about the integrated philosophy and what people are doing, that golf is a major component of people's lives, but anymore for especially for the younger folk, it is just an element of it. It's not everything. And so that's really where our place is in the game. So, a shirt like I have on now, like you can do anything in the shirt. You can work out in it. 85 degrees here in San Diego this morning. So I'm not going outside in this, but you can do anything in it. It performs. It looks great. I'm in an office now, creative office, wearing it. So that's a place we really see the game. And then back to your question is showing, being more, I guess, more prominent in how we tell these stories to the golfers, because I still think we have obviously a long way to go for people to discover our brand. But when people discover it, and you said it, we have the highest customer loyalty I've ever seen in a consumer brand, and we have the lowest product return rates I've ever seen. So people that come into our brand, whether it's they buy a pair of shoes or they buy a t-shirt, they generally stay with us and buy more, because they know once immediately our product is different. It really is.
I can attest. I've never returned one thing, and I'm frequenting the website a lot.
Well, we appreciate that.
So I got the ATG shoes, and they're like my fitting shoe. I love wearing them during fittings because we're on our feet, for 5 to 6 hours at a time. They're crazy comfortable. You can golf in them 100%. But they're so damn comfortable. But when I was blown away with them the most is last year, my wife and I went to Hawaii, and we went on a hiking trail up to a waterfall. We were on Oahu, and the trail was damp and wet, like 70% of it. And going up was no issues. And I hadn't had the knee surgery yet. I had the knee pain, but I was like, man, going down may be a little sketchy in these. Not at all. It was rock solid. I just blew me away. I'm like, okay, there's more to this shoe than just being
I love hearing that, because I think that's sort of the point, or at least it's a good representation of our entire philosophy, because obviously that's a shoe that was really thought with a golfer in mind first, but I'm guessing you wouldn't wear a pair of golf shoes on that hike. So, I'm the same. There's a trail near my house that I do maybe twice a week, and it's a 6 mile trail, and I'll wear my ATGs on that trail. And I also, as I said, I walk 99% of my rounds of golf. That's what I'm playing golf in. And so that's, we really believe, like when we were talking about the lifestyle, this integrated approach, that these types of executions from us, at least, are what we think it should be and will be exciting for golfers too, because it's active, it's performance oriented. There's obviously a unique, tasteful style that we have with Municipal, and it also can cut across all of these activities that are part of a golfer's life, including golf.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Pretty awesome. Another trend that's starting to happen here is the super lightweight hoodies.
Yeah,
that for sun protection.
Yeah.
I wear sleeve. I hate sunscreen. You could probably tell.
Matt, you're a little bit red today, so you might want to.
I played afternoon round yesterday in the cloud coverage, so I got torched. I hate sunscreen. I just hate the way it feels. I hate the way the oils and just ugh. And then you get the stuff without the zinc, and it's just paste. You're just putting paste on yourself.
Yeah.
So I wear sleeves, and I'll wear a sun hat. But the super lightweight hoodies are really, you're starting to see more and more guys out here wearing stuff like that, because it's hot. It's 105 out. If you're wearing short sleeves or you're wearing a long sleeve, it's not going to be any different. But if you have that breathable sunscreen material with the hoodie, it's starting to take off. And that's the last place you would think you would see that, is in Vegas.
I'm lucky because I work here, but I have specially made long sleeve polos that, no one's really buying those yet. So we're not really coming to market with that, but that's what I wear for that same reason. Cause I don't like having to reapply sunscreen throughout. And the fabric we have is so breathable and lightweight, and it's UV protected that I feel nice and cool. Now I'm in San Diego. It's not 105, but I'm still walking. I'm with you on that.
So, is there anything more golf specific that's coming, or is it Just
A
that
lot
new.
of cool layering. Just in terms of the product, we have our update to the ATG shoe that we're talking about coming out next year, and then pretty significant push, I'd say, on the content side, with some cool things that we have in mind coming that I'll just tease here that we think is cool. And we had one of our I think facets of our company that's different is we've got Mark and Lev with their whole content enterprise that will be able, I think, to help us tell the Municipal story in a differentiated way and in a cool way. So we're really excited about where we're going, especially in golf. And I think from a golfer myself, the thing I'm really thrilled about, and I just mentioned my journey through golf, is like, it's nice that golf is seen as cool again from non-golfers. So I think that part is really exciting for all of us that have been in this for a while. And I think that it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for people to accept, new different, new perspectives and new taste, I guess, in terms of apparel and footwear and accessories. So we're really excited about that development.
So with the influencer content creator chaos that's going on, how happy are you that you don't have to deal with that with Callaway right now? It's a completely different world right now than it was in the team.
This is the part where I'm definitely old, and I know a lot of them too. So I gotta say, like, I'm thrilled for the creators that they've been able to create, businesses for themselves and create, a life. I also, as an entrepreneur myself, like I root for all entrepreneurs, no matter what, no matter what they're doing, even if they're competing against us, I secretly pull for them. So I'm all for it. I do think that it's, and this is the boomer part of me, I do think that it's in broad brushstrokes, like it's sort of coalescing around similar storytelling techniques, and I think there's an opportunity for divergence again in the storytelling, and I'm excited for that. It gets a little bit repetitive, and it's the personality driven nature of it has a shelf life. So I'm not so let's say eager to see new personalities necessarily. I'm eager to see new storytelling techniques, even if it's from the existing personalities. Yeah. But and it's funny, like you see a lot of new brands that are entering the category using the existing influencer ecosystem, and I think that that's not as appealing to me. So I'm again, I go back to the storytelling aspect of it. I think that's a big opportunity for all of us.
We have a friend. His IG account is Hesherhack, William Hesh out in Indiana area, Ohio. Sorry, but he is doing a hole-in-one challenge where he tries to hit a hole-in-one every single day. And when he started, he's not the greatest golfer, but he's up to 391 days now, where he has filmed himself hitting a shot. He's a greenskeeper at a golf course. Yeah. So he films a shot every single day.
Same hole?
No, different holes. But
different holes. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the par threes on the course. So he started slow, and you could tell he was getting a little frustrated with how it wasn't growing the way he wanted it to. And we told, hey, just be you. And his evolution on this series has been amazing. And he's got some sponsors now. He's getting tons of likes, and he's about to hit 10,000 followers. And it's very inspirational because he's calling it "Go Hard July." Do things that are hard. Don't give up. Do things that are hard, and his thing this year is that the swing doesn't define me, my efforts do. And it's been an amazing journey watching him, and his golf is getting better now, which is great. Because I told him, I said, dude, when you're done with this, your short game is going to be legit. Because
I love that.
Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun watching him. But he's telling a story. It's his journey, and anybody can go out there and film themselves hitting ace cam. But the fact that we've been doing it so diligently and so methodically and open about it, he doesn't. Great shots are awesome, but bad shots are just as awesome because it's real, and it's starting to resonate with a lot of people.
I'll have to check it out. That sounds like exactly what I want to see.
Somebody challenged him to learn golf left-handed, and so he's up to 18 days. He's doing that as well now. 18 days learning golf left-handed. Because a user challenged me to. So it's brutal. It's brutal watching him, but he's doing it. He's doing it.
Love it.
But yeah, I love that storytelling aspect of that as well. It's really good. And on last night's show, we were talking about the YGT episode and some of the things that we liked about it, some of the things we didn't like about it. And we really think, and also on the PGA Tour, there's so many aspects of the golf courses themselves that the tour and these YouTube golfers really don't capitalize on. There's so many good stories. Like Purcell Farms, where they played that at, has such an amazing story about the course and the history and what happened there. And they just left all that out. And I think that's one of the great things about golf is every golf course is different. And there's a story at every golf course. And if you find that story, it's such good content, and just nobody's found that yet. Eric Anders Lang does a really good job. He's a great storyteller. There are people that do, but I would really love to see that aspect in the game out more.
There you go.
All right. Last thing I'm going to touch on. This guy right here.
I know that guy. That's you.
You know that guy. That's me. There's my coworker Julian there on the right, and this Mark Wahlberg character.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there's Mark right there in the middle.
What is it like working with him?
He's always on, man. I think what you see is what you get. And trust me, I would never have left doing something I loved in an industry I love to go work for a celebrity. That was never in the cards. But he's as authentic as it gets. He's as warm as it gets, and he's got he's sort of a tireless work ethic that everybody knows. And
I'm watching him sometimes.
And he's an idea factory. And I think one thing that would surprise everybody about him, I think, is how much he absorbs news, information, content. It's how I first met him is when I was at TaylorMade. He knew our entire product line. He knew all the tour players. And this is like back before there was so much available information on social media and digitally. And then when I jumped over to Callaway, we would launch a product, we would do a piece of content. He was watching it. So he really is like the ultimate connector. And that part's been awesome because he's been a phenomenal partner, especially when times have been challenging, which of course they are for any business. He's been an incredible partner and a great friend. And I think when you go and walk around with them, there really aren't a lot of people like him that have an authentic connection to people in the way that he does. And it's been a really good partnership, I think.
Safe to say it was a good move for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. We'll see. We haven't crashed it into the ocean yet, and every day brings new challenges. But personally, I get up every day and, earlier and earlier, it seems, and excited about the challenge of building something really cool. And I think the part that's the most gratifying, honestly, is hearing from fans of Municipal that get what we're doing and really have found that our products and our content have inspired them to try to pursue extraordinary lives. That's why we wanted to build the brand. and we hear from those people all the time.
I probably should have led with this question, but it just came to my head. Or not question. For those that aren't familiar with the Municipal brand, pitch it. What's pitch Municipal?
Yeah, well, we make extraordinary products for people that want to live extraordinary lives, and starting with activity. I think that I'm not going to give an elevator pitch here or a sales pitch, but I think that it should resonate with people that know this is true, that our lives are becoming more diversified and people aren't willing to compromise any aspect of their life, and they want integration. They want their gym to work with their career, to work with their activity pursuits, to work with what they want to do with their waking hours. And it's I think when we started this thing, we even were talking about health is the new luxury, that's the aspect of people's lives that they want to have to integrate in with everything. And that's what we've built this company around. And so here we are almost 7 years later. And I think that a lot of what we founded this company on is what has been driving our growth. And we're really excited about it, because we don't really think of it as a short-term thing. We really feel like this is an enduring aspect. I'm not even using the word trend. It's an enduring aspect of a component of people's lives. Obviously, as they get older, it becomes important, but we're hearing it as being a through point that's happening in younger people too, and that's exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm excited for you guys. Like I said, fanboy here.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm looking forward to repping the Municipal brand at the gym, because the gym stuff is amazing. It's utterly amazing. So, and I got some new shoes showing up today.
Awesome.
For the gym.
Get in that gym, Matt. Get in that gym.
Get in that gym. Go make it happen.
You got the new knee. You got the new membership. Like you gotta get. We want to be here a long time, don't we?
As long as possible.
I want you to have me back on in like 30 years, and we're both like just crushing
it. we say there's only so many more rounds in your life.
That's right.
There's only so many, so make the most of every opportunity.
Exactly.
Harry, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you on. I'm glad we're able
to I appreciate
showcase the brand and let everybody that may not be aware what you guys are up to. So again, thank you so much, and we'll be in touch.